Are you ever wondering why, if homeopathy is as great as I say it is as great as it absolutely is, that I'm sometimes in pain, that other homeopaths are sometimes in pain, that our clients are sometimes in pain? Welcome to Big Homeopathy. I'm your host, Sarah Thompson. Hi, welcome to Big Homeopathy. I'm your host, Big Homeopath, Sarah Thompson. So I hurt my back last weekend and I was totally laid out on the couch. And I think it's reasonable to ask. People might say, okay, so you big fancy homeopath with all your magic pills, how come you're laid up on the couch with your back hurting? Or if you're one of my clients, you might call me and say, okay, big fancy homeopath with all your magic pills, how come my back is hurting? Isn't there a remedy for that? And the short answer is yes, there is. The longer answer is, and if you're in the care of a homeopath, you're on it. And here comes the even longer answer. There's a rough rule in homeopathy that for every year of chronic disease that you're trying to heal, you're looking at about a month of care. And most disease is chronic, even when it takes different forms at different times. If you look at cancer, for instance, the moment of the cancer diagnosis, that is a certain set of symptoms that come up. But whatever triggered that, whatever the vector was for that, was triggering the deeper chronic condition, the susceptibility that then becomes cancer. And I want to talk about cancer for a moment because it's something that's important to me. There's always a lot of talk about what is the cause of cancer. And a lot of it is in the holistic healing world in terms of mold causes cancer, or red dye number 5 causes cancer, or stress causes cancer. I used to think that way about cancer and to try to control all these factors in my environment and really to perseverate on all of these little disparate causes of cancer, these pollutants. And then I got a cancer diagnosis. And I still held on to those beliefs for a long time. But when I then relapsed, I really got it. And I really realized, okay, there is a deeper predisposition in me to leukemia. And it isn't about gluten or sugar or electromagnetic frequencies. Anything can, vectors are important and they very much do matter, and it is helpful to reduce your exposure to the vectors that are going to trigger your system. But that set and setting that we talked about last week, that set and setting is also a huge factor, the biggest factor in disease from the way that I look at it. We measure risk in statistics, and it's easy to lose sight in statistics of the fact that that's not causation. And the nature of probabilities is that we don't know what is going to take place when and where. And so when you're an individual, the statistics aren't that meaningful. When I got sick, the biggest question that I had was why me in particular? Not why me, how could this happen to me, but why me? Is there something that I could have controlled to not have this happen? When my friend Dave died, and we had a very similar profile as far as the medical community was concerned, I wanted to know why me again? Why didn't I die? What was different? And I really tried to look for that answer, and what I came up with was they don't know. This is a crapshoot. They don't really know why. And that's why medicine that is individualized, down to the level of your myriad symptoms, especially the weird ones, what makes your disease unique? I mean, if you think of this circle of you having a disease, then there's this little tiny wedge that's the same for everybody with that diagnosis. And that's what conventional medical oncology is looking at. But the whole rest of this circle, what is weird? What are your fears? What are your dreams? What are your hopes? What's your history? What are your aches and pains? That's why that kind of treatment is the most important thing in healing the whole rest of that pie. Which brings us back to my back. I never had back problems when I was younger, but I did have other kinds of more serious problems. Anxiety, addictive behaviors, oh yeah, cancer. And I didn't come into the world unencumbered either. That genetic and epigenetic burden was luggage that I was already carrying. With our health, too, there is a thread that carries through all the way from birth. There are unique predispositions, and every trauma and incursion that happens along the way, either our system is strong enough to throw it off, in which case it then makes us stronger, we respond to the challenge, or if the system's not strong enough, it ends up suppressed in a latent state, just waiting for another trigger. And I'm talking about a long game when I'm thinking about health, when I'm thinking about ease and adaptability. I'm not just talking about this moment of back pain. I'm looking down the line to when I'm 70 and 80 and 90 and the level of function that I'm going to be experiencing at that time. And when my life, as I thought it was going to be, just kind of blew apart in my 20s, I was completely unmoored, and my body just was overwhelmed by my efforts to adapt to it. And so I engaged emergency procedures, which set everything on fire. And the healing from that, and also from everything that's underneath it, is like unpacking a closet full of junk. And sometimes there are things that come to the surface that are the body parking something somewhere while it does the deeper work. So sometimes something comes up on the skin. Sometimes there's a more minor structural issue. In this case, I tweaked my back, and then it took me a couple of days to recover from that pain. Because all along, this healing process is dealing with the deeper susceptibility. I had a deep susceptibility to leukemia that I believe that I don't have anymore, because I've seen those layers come off in the healing process, which has not always been easy. I actually, when I start to feel a pain or an illness coming on, I get excited because I know it's new information, it's new growth. Every time I get to the other side of something, there's a shiny new emergence that comes forward. Depression and anxiety settle in the body. Getting them out is serious work. It's a labor of birth and rebirth. Yes, my back hurt on Sunday, but my heart was light because I knew that there was some beautiful healing taking place. And the power of that healing, I want to bring that to you to help you have curiosity when you're in pain, that you're getting a beautiful opportunity to heal. And also, sometimes you need to lie down with a hot water bottle. That's big homeopathy this week. It's going to be huge. I'll see you next week. Take a moment, if you are enjoying these videos, to click through the links in the description if there are people in your life, or if you yourself could benefit from a Transforming Cancer session, which is a free, no obligation session to learn about how homeopathy can help heal in the way that it has helped so profoundly to heal me in my life and to provide the healing that has brought me home. Thank you.